डर तो काफ़ी था, आई विल नॉट लाई हियर। बहुत डर था क्योंकि पाइथन और कोडिंग मेरे को हमेशा से सब लोग बोलते आए कि डिफ़िकल्ट होता है, डिफ़िकल्ट होता है। आई डिडंट नो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट वाज। हमेशा ही मैंने कोडिंग देखे थे, इन द ब्लैक स्क्रीन दे जस्ट राइट समथिंग दैट मेक्स नो सेंस। आई गेट अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस ऑन लिंक्डइन, व्हाई a paid service and why not, just YouTube or Udemy. Coming from a non-tech background, knowing nothing about coding and getting placed in just 2 to 3 months after completing my course is something I never expected. He's sitting at home getting a lot of money, just looking into a computer. Every single day you'll face something, or every single day there's someone who is creating a new LLM. There's someone who is creating a new ChatGPT kind of model. So complicated code does not matter. What matters is don't think about your age, or probably don't stay behind just thinking that you're old enough to do data science or any course for that matter of fact.
Hi Nidhi, how are you doing there? Thank you so much for coming here on the channel. Please introduce yourself to the audience who's watching this video.
Yeah, hi Ishan and hi everybody. मेरा नाम निधि है and I am currently working as a software engineer in Prolifix and I work for data science projects basically.
Awesome. So Nidhi, before we talk about your data science journey, I want to know what happened before that, right? So take me back to when you were doing your bachelor's. आपका जो focus था उस time पे nutrition and food science पे, how did that change to technology? How did you decide कि आपको tech domain में जाना है?
हाँ, मैंने MSc किया है न्यूट्रिशन से ईशान एंड मैंने काम भी किया था एक्चुअली 1 साल इन अ हॉस्पिटल. इट वाज अ मल्टी स्पेशलिटी हॉस्पिटल. उसके बाद एक्चुअली मेरा 3 इयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है इन मार्केटिंग बेसिकली. आई वाज इन फील्ड सेल्स एंड आई वाज इन टेलीकॉलिंग एज वेल. उसके बाद वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड एक्चुअली सजेस्टेड मी डेटा साइंस. एक्चुअली मैं अपने भाई को देख के हमेशा आई यूज्ड टू फील जेलस दैट ही इज सिटिंग एट होम गेटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, जस्ट लुकिंग इनटू अ कंप्यूटर. तो मुझे लगा, आई वाज सो फैसिनेटेड कि हाउ कैन पीपल लर्न जस्ट लुकिंग एट अ कंप्यूटर, राइट? सो इसीलिए मैंने सोचा, आई रिसर्च्ड ऑन व्हाट एग्जैक्टली कैन आई डू वेयर इन देयर इज नॉट अ लॉट ऑफ कोडिंग, क्योंकि मुझे कोडिंग नहीं आती थी, मुझे कंप्यूटर का कुछ नहीं पता था. I just used to see it as a black box. So then when I saw, online on what exactly to do, then I got to know about data science. And data science had a lot of, connections with biology background as well. क्योंकि हम लोग neural networks बनाया ही इसलिए गया था क्योंकि it resembles our brain, right? So वो मुझे fascinate किया and that is how I thought I'll do data science. And one of my friend also suggested that data science is a very good course and it is in trend. So इसीलिए मैं data science में आई basically.
Very interesting. So before we talk about what was your preparation like, I want to understand first of all कि data science में scope क्या रहता है, right? So tell me a bit about that. What pay can people expect? What is your day in the life look like? आप किस projects पे काम करते हो when you are working in the company as a data scientist?
Right. So honestly pay varies a lot. मैं क्योंकि non-tech background से हूँ, I can expect something around 4 to 8 lakhs. बट जिनके पास कोडिंग एक्सपीरियंस है और प्रॉबली जिनको कोडिंग ऑलरेडी आती है, इट मेक्स देम वेरी ईजी टू गेट इन टू दिस फील्ड. सो आई थिंक दे कैन एक्सपेक्ट इवन मोर ऑफ इट, राइट? मोर देन 8 और प्रॉबली 10-12 तक भी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. एंड अ डे इन द लाइफ ऑफ डेटा साइंस इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज एवरी सिंगल डे आई वुड नॉट से इट्स अ वेरी ईजी जॉब, राइट? बट it's challenging as well as interesting. You will not have, एक बात मैं बोल सकती हूँ that you will never have a monotonous life. Every single day you will face something, or every single day there's someone who is creating a new LLM. There's someone who is creating a new, ChatGPT kind of model. So you will never have a monotonous day. But हाँ, आप काफ़ी कुछ सीख सकते हो. Ongoing जो future है AI का, जो future है data science का, ये सारी चीज़ें आप सीख सकते हैं. So that is how life of data scientist would be. I'm in the way basically. I would not say I'm a fully grown data scientist yet because I work as a software engineer and I work for generative AI and data science project. So I'm liking it as such. Abhi ke liye to I really love the way things are going for me right now.
तो एज अ डेटा साइंटिस्ट आपकी फ्यूचर में अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ कैसी होती हैं? अगर किसी को समझना है कि आगे जा कर के व्हाट डज द करियर प्रोग्रेशन लुक लाइक, तो उसमें क्या क्या हो सकता है?
करेक्ट. सो एवरी कंपनी में डिफरेंट होता है वो. अगर आप डेटा एनालिस्ट की तरह स्पेसिफिकली ज्वाइन करते हैं, सो यू कैन मतलब टीम लीड बन के यू कैन ग्रो इन दैट स्ट्रीम. बट इफ़ यू आर स्पेसिफिकली वर्किंग इन डेटा साइंस लेट्स सपोज, तो पहले तो आपका रोल इधर दे विल गिव यू जूनियर डेटा साइंटिस्ट और दे विल प्रॉब्ली गिव यू अ रोल ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर. But then you can grow as a technical architect, right? Team lead बन करके आप technical architect बन सकते हैं. That completely involves your knowledge of Python, machine learning, deep learning. Nowadays generative AI is like going crazy, right? So generative AI का अगर knowledge होता है आपके पास and you have a little hands-on experience, so I think that's how you can grow. And project management में भी जा सकते हैं आप if you want to, get into management with your technical knowledge. So I think that is how you can grow in data science.
Very interesting. So Nidhi, walk me
Right.
through your journey, right? When you decided कि अच्छा मुझे अब switch करना है into a tech role like data science, how did you start to learn? जैसा अभी आपने mention किया Python, machine learning. How did you start with learning all of these concepts? And आपको कुछ डर था क्या कि मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी because I did not choose engineering या फिर math when you were approaching all of these concepts?
Honestly डर तो काफ़ी था. I will not lie here. बहुत डर था क्योंकि पाइथन और कोडिंग मेरे को हमेशा से सब लोग बोलते आए कि डिफ़िकल्ट होता है. तो आई डिडंट नो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट वाज, राइट? क्योंकि हमेशा ही मैंने कोडिंग देखे थे इन द ब्लैक स्क्रीन, दे जस्ट राइट समथिंग दैट मेक्स नो सेंस, राइट? इट्स लाइक वी राइट ऑल, ऐसे चीटियाँ नहीं चलती, वैसा ही लगता था मेरे को. एंड देन वी सी द स्क्रीन एंड दे आई डोंट नो व्हाट दे डू. सो पहले डर बहुत था. Then when I started understanding about data science, that it plays around data and all, then I understood about a little about the statistics की भी ज़रूरत होती है उसमें. So पहले थोड़ा सा रिसर्च किया कि क्या होता है, कौन कौन सी चीज़ें ज़रूरत होती है. जैसे मैं पाइथन बोला, मशीन लर्निंग बोला, डीप लर्निंग बोला, ये सारी चीज़ों की ज़रूरत होती है. Then one of my friend actually suggested me about Odin School. And Odin School ने, because I don't come from a tech background, they took care of it. It's because काफ़ी लोग थे यहाँ पे भी जो tech background से नहीं थे. Still they taught us from the scratch on print hello world. That is I think very basic. People who are from coding background, they are like ये क्या type कर रहे हो, right? So they taught us from there. And that is how I learned Python, SQL. I learned basics of machine learning. I got a little insights on deep learning as well. And for data visualization, I got Tableau as well. So that is how my journey started in data science.
Very interesting. So if someone needs to enter this field of data science, एक मेरे को बताइए what is like a roadmap. जैसे आपने बताया Python सीखना होगा, उसके बाद what are the libraries या what are the packages that they need to learn to understand everything about data science, right? So how can you collect data, how can you clean data, how can you organize data, and how can you create conclusions from data? तो वो पूरा जो एक process होती है, how can they learn about all of that and कौन से उनको चीज़ें करनी पड़ेंगी सीखने के लिए?
Yeah. So सबसे पहले as you are asking about Python, तो Python में 2 major libraries है जो हम लोग बहुत ही ज़्यादा यूज़ करते हैं. एक है NumPy और एक है Pandas. So Pandas is definitely for loading the data that we have, and NumPy is for numerical Python, right? ये दोनों चीज़ें basic हैं Python में जो हमें सिखाई जाती हैं, and these are very very important, right? Then अगर हम लोग advance कर रहे हैं in machine learning, or if we are advancing to the higher level of Python, यहाँ पे हम लोग we require a lot of different libraries. जैसे machine learning में सबसे important हमारे पास scikit-learn है, right? And then we have matplotlib, and then we have scipy. These kind of libraries are very important again. Basic ही है, but then I think एक बार हम लोग hands on करना start कर देते हैं, we'll be able to understand them better, right? And in Python I think these are very important. And then going forward, if we talk about SQL, I think this is not as difficult as Python again, but then if we learn joins, if we learn how to basic querying अगर हम लोग सीख लेते हैं, I think that will be very good to land a job as well. Then Tableau में creating basic dashboards again. Obviously हम लोग basic बोलते हैं, लेकिन उसका background पूरा हमें अगर पता होता है, यही important होता है then. So I think again Tableau is not as complicated as Python is. then these are the 4-5 technologies that I think we should be knowing before getting into data science, is what I think.
Got it. So again, कोई भी चीज़ सीखने के लिए there are two ways, right? One is to just go on YouTube and search how to become a data scientist, and आप वहीं पे सारे free
Right.
courses देख लीजिए and you can become a data scientist depending on आप किस तरह content करते हो consume और कैसे आप execute करते हो. The other approach, which is what you followed, was to sign up for a program, and that too with Odin School. So tell me a bit about this. Why did you choose like a paid program versus the free one, and like what were the benefits of it over the free approach, over the, you know, आप खुद को करना पड़ेगा आपको, right? So what is the difference between all of both of these approaches?
Correct. Actually, I would say this is a very good question. I get a lot of questions on LinkedIn. Why a paid service and why not, you know, just YouTube or Udemy? Because they teach very well. I know YouTube has great teachers. I know Udemy, Coursera has great teachers, right? Even I started from YouTube and Udemy. मैंने भी वहीं से सीखा. But I think 2 या 3 चीज़ें यहाँ पे we have to understand is, एक, अगर हम लोग खुद से सीख रहे हैं, the pace that we learn on is very slow. हम लोग एक चीज़ पे ही अटके रह जाते हैं if we don't know, if we are learning something. मतलब the pace is also important. It's because obviously now future is generative AI, future is data science, right? So अगर हम लोग pace नहीं check करते हैं तो 1-2 साल ऐसे ही हो जाते हैं हमारे. So very important is that we look at the pace. And second is the placement aspect. Definitely if अगर आप YouTube, Udemy, Coursera से करते हैं, आपको definitely you can, you know, get jobs, but it will be not streamlined is what I think, right? That is one reason पहले मैंने YouTube से start किया, 1-2 महीना सीखा, उसके बाद मुझे पता चला that if we join a course probably, वहाँ पे streamline भी होता है, they teach you from the scratch and they'll also provide you placements. So that is how, you know, I chose Odin School. And I think that is one of the best things that I've done. It's because coming from a non-tech background, knowing nothing about coding and getting placed in just 2 to 3 months after completing my course is something I never expected. A lot of people actually are struggling to get a job. But I think I was lucky here that you know, even if I've just had you know, 6 months of course and 1-2 mahine ka self-study could get, you know, I could land a job, that too in a very good company, right? That was something that led me do this.
That is indeed very remarkable, Nidhi. One more thing that people are confused with are projects, right? तो once you learn कि ठीक है ये सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं जो मेरे को सीखनी है, next step is to create projects, right? तो what were those projects that you created and how did you get the idea? Also, how can people who are trying to get a job in the data science field, how can they think of a project idea to showcase in their resume? क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों के पास एक टेम्पलेट जो सिंपल सा प्रोजेक्ट होता है सबके पास होता है वो, right? And that does not help them stand out from everyone else. So how can they focus on this one thing?
Right. So I'd like to divide this into 2. Right, we were talking about a paid course versus non-paid course. I'd like to include this as well in this. First, I'll start with how I have done my project. उसके बाद हम लोग चलते हैं to the non-paid one, right? Because I have done it through Odin School. I'll explain their curriculum so that you understand it better on how they help you to, you know, make your projects. Right. The very first thing that they focus on is every single module. Like let's suppose Python khatam ho gaya, they'll let you do a project. They'll also let you take a mock interview, right? It's because अगर हम लोग, we have to be interview ready. So any course minded, they teach you to be interview ready, right? They'll land you a job, but they can't help you beyond. Right? So वो चीज़ के लिए they'll definitely help you for mock interviews, they'll help you for projects as well. So that is how Odin has helped me. Then later on, when अगर हम machine learning projects की बात करें, they actually give you a custom data set जहाँ पे you can work and you can showcase your talent, and they help you create a Git repository as well. मतलब GitHub अपना account खोल करके they'll help you on posting it there. It's because very important that you have your projects on GitHub, because trust me, मेरे interviews में they actually opened my Git link from my resume and उन्होंने मेरे projects देखे और उसमें से questions पूछे. That was something I was not aware of until I got to know it from my instructors. Yeah, this thing happens, right? So that is how they asked me to give answers related, because like there are few terms in machine learning wherein they ask specific questions from your project. If you don't know that and if you are copying it from somewhere else, probably you'll never know, right? The same thing, अगर हम लोग free sources से जा रहे हैं, like YouTube से हम लोग project बना करके जा रहे हैं, definitely we'll watch a video and we'll create it or we'll copy the Git repository. बट हियर अगेन, अगर हमें छोटी छोटी टर्म्स नहीं पता होती हैं, देन इट बिकम्स अ प्रॉब्लम विद द इंटरव्यूअर. एंड चूजिंग अ प्रोजेक्ट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यहाँ पे हमें लाइक वी हैव डिफरेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग. वी हैव सुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग, वी हैव अनसुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग, वी हैव क्लस्टरिंग, राइट, वी हैव डीप लर्निंग, NLP. सो इनमें से छोटे छोटे भी प्रोजेक्ट अगर हम लोग निकाल करके गिट पे डालते हैं, आई थिंक दैट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस. एंड इन एवरीथिंग इट डज नॉट मैटर कि आप कितना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं, कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कोड डाल रहे हैं. कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कोड डज नॉट मैटर. व्हाट मैटर्स इज अगर आप सिंपल कोड भी उन्हें दिखा पा रहे हैं एंड दे नो दैट येस दिस गर्ल और दिस बॉय इज ट्रेनेबल, they will definitely take you and they'll actually look at your projects. That's what I think, and that's how I got a job, is what I think.
So
Yeah.
what type of projects would you recommend someone to have and include in their resume?
Right. So when it comes to Python, I think there are few complicated questions. जैसे हम लोग Fibonacci series देख लेते हैं. Not very complicated again, but again ये दिखाता है कि आप कोड कर सकते हैं. चूजिंग प्राइम नंबर्स, इट वेरी सिंपल फॉर समवन हु नोज कोडिंग, बट इट विल शो दैट यू नो कोडिंग, राइट? Then when it comes to machine learning, as I was talking about, supervised learning. So supervised learning का एक project, right? I've done a very simple, very simple project, heart disease detection, I think. So ये वाला जो प्रोजेक्ट था, आई एक्सप्लेन, मैंने 3-4 इंटरव्यूज़ दिए. उन 3-4 इंटरव्यूज़ में एवरी टाइम आई हैव एक्चुअली एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस प्रोजेक्ट एंड विच हेल्प मी अलॉट. तो एक सुपरवाइज लर्निंग हो गया, एक अनसुपरवाइज लर्निंग का आप बना सकते हैं और एक NLP पे बना सकते हैं. सो यू कैन सेग्रीगेट योर प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड क्रिएट अ रिपोजिटरी इन योर गिटहब एंड आप पोस्ट कर सकते हैं on it basically. So that is what I would recommend.
Awesome. And how should someone prepare for the interview for data science, right? किस तरह क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं? What was your own experience while you were interviewing for these roles?
Actually data science बहुत vast हो जाता है. So that's the reason why हमें specific choose करना पड़ता है किस चीज़ पे we have to focus a lot on. But I would suggest कि बेसिक्स पे अगर आप फोकस करते हैं, जैसे बेसिक स्टैटिस्टिक्स में भी इन डेप्थ नहीं जा करके, इफ़ वी बेसिक्स में अगर हम लोग स्क्रैच करके इफ़ यू डू इट, आई थिंक दैट विल बी इनफ. मेजरली जो हमारे इंटरव्यूज़ होते हैं, इट हैज़ 3 to 4 राउंड्स. द फर्स्ट वन इज़ wherein they give a data set and they'll ask you to solve. That will show your coding skills or that will show your analyzing skills, right? Few companies will give you a data set और कुछ companies नहीं भी देती हैं. But the technical rounds are very critical. So technical rounds में क्या होता है, they'll ask you the basics जो हम लोग भूल करके we go to the very end of machine learning, right? So the basics, जैसे कि हम लोग जो project में, जैसे for example मैं बता रही हूँ, precision हो गया, recall हो गया, these are analyzing matrix basically. So these matrix they'll actually ask you in your interview. So इस तरह के क्वेश्चन. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, जैसे पाइथन में मैं प्राइम नंबर का आपको प्रोग्राम बता रही थी, उस तरह के क्वेश्चंस भी पूछ सकते हैं. SQL में द बेसिक अगेन, वेरिन हम लोग सेकेंड हाईएस्ट नंबर, हम लोग मैक्स फंक्शन तो यूज़ कर सकते हैं, बट सेकेंड हाईएस्ट नंबर, थर्ड हाईएस्ट नंबर इज़ व्हाट समथिंग वी गेट कन्फ्यूज्ड ऑन. सो इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस दे कैन ट्विस्ट एंड आस्क यू, right? And in deep learning also, definitely they'll not ask you to code on deep learning, but they'll ask you what kind of libraries have you used. मतलब this is a very simple question जहाँ पे वो लोग पूछ रहे हैं कि किस तरह के libraries आपने यूज़ किए हैं in NLP, just to know कि आप कितना depth तक गए हैं NLP में, कितना depth तक computer vision में गए हैं. So probably these are the basic questions that need focus on, but they can ask you to code as well. जैसे ये prime number वाला function सिर्फ बताने से नहीं चलेगा, they'll ask you to actually code and show it. They'll ask you to share your screen. And second technical interview would also be quite similar to this. So दोनों almost similar होंगे, but then एक थोड़ा in depth हो सकता है, एक basic ही होगा. So these are the 3 rounds, and the 4th round obviously is the HR round, which is again easy to crack.
Makes sense. So Nidhi, do you have any tips for people who are still watching this video and are interested in entering the data science field? Like, what are some do's and don'ts now that you are working in the data science role? What would you like to advise them?
This is advice I think I have given it to a lot of people, that don't think about your age, or probably don't stay behind just thinking that you're old enough to do data science, or any course for that matter of fact. It's because if you want to grow in something, it does not matter. Whenever you want to switch, you can actually switch, and have courage to take step ahead. And the second thing is, keep focusing on basics. It's because we forget basics and we go up in the ladder, but in the interviews what matters is the basics, right? That's the second thing. And the third thing is, again, be positive. It's because I've done marketing, the one thing that we are taught on every day is law of averages. Law of averages in the sense, if we apply for good 50-60 companies, then you land one job, right? So don't be depressed if you apply for 10 jobs and you don't get it. It's because if you apply, I have personally applied for 100 companies and then I got one job. So don't worry about it. Just keep applying, because there's one good company that's sitting behind and waiting for you to come and apply, right? You'll get a job definitely. That's one thing that I want to, tell everybody who is watching this video.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nidhi, for taking out the time and sharing your journey and your lessons for people who are still watching this video.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nishant.
Awesome, guys. That was the video. If you learned something from this, please let me know in the comment section what was your one biggest takeaway. If you have any questions as well, you can put them down in the comment section. And if you want to learn more about the Odin School program that Nidhi went through, you can also check out the description for that link. And that's all from me. I will see you all in the next video. You will find some more resources about data science in the description. I've made some more videos around it, so you can have a look at that if you are more interested to explore this field. That's all from me. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.